Another death has come to pass in the form of the passing of King Von, a young rapper whose life was taken not too long ago. But there was a lot of conflicting information going on about the death that has left people curious as to what really happened. Allow us to break it all down for you, but first, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 7, the truth on King Von passing.
This shooting made national headlines as officials confirmed one of the 3 people shot and killed was rapper King Von from Chicago.
The question has been put out there. What exactly happened to King Von? It's one that is a bit more complicated than you might think, so we'll take it step by step. TMZ cited sources as saying 3 people, including King Von, were killed in a shooting. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the incident occurred outside a nightclub in downtown Atlanta early one Friday morning.
A rapper who is among those who were shot and killed in a gun battle in downtown Atlanta, with 3 others dead.
Reporters Chelsea Prince and John Spink noted that several others were injured. TMZ put the number of people shot at 6. One person was said to have been struck by a vehicle when the crowd outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge started to scatter, AJC reports. The report also noted that local authorities had been called to the club twice over a 24-hour period to investigate shootings, though there is zero evidence the 2 incidents are related. During the early Friday morning shooting, 2 off-duty cops who were working security there are said to have tried to intervene, ultimately exchanging gunfire with as yet unidentified individuals. That physical altercation escalated into an exchange of gunfire with those groups. Atlanta Police Deputy Chief Timothy Peake said 2 police officers who were working at that particular club or lounge noticed the altercation and engaged some of the people involved. There was an exchange of gunfire with police as well. So as you can see, this was a very dark and complicated situation, and many people were wondering if this was just another random act of violence or something more. But no matter what, lives were taken, including that of King Von, and that makes it a tragedy no matter what side of it you sit on. The police report.
Individuals got into a physical altercation. That physical altercation escalated into an exchange of gunfire.
When reached by Complex for comment, a rep for the Atlanta Police Department said they could not confirm the identities of anyone involved in the shooting until next of kin notifications had been confirmed. The APD also offered this statement. On Friday, November 6, 2020, at around 3:20 a.m., 2 off-duty Atlanta police officers were working an extra job at Monaco Hookah Lounge, 255 Trinity Avenue Southwest. The officers were in uniform, and a marked APD vehicle with its blue lights activated for visibility was parked nearby. The officers were outside the lounge when 2 groups of males started to argue with each other. The argument quickly escalated to gunfire between the 2 groups. One of the off-duty officers, along with an on-duty Atlanta police officer who was patrolling nearby. Confronted the shooters, and shots were fired during the encounter. 3 suspects were located on scene with gunshot wounds and were transported to the hospital by EMS. 3 other suspects left the scene and were taken to the hospital by private vehicles. 2 additional suspects were detained on scene. 3 of the persons shot in the incident have died as a result of their wounds, and 3 others are being treated in area hospitals. The officers were not injured. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation was requested to respond and investigate the officer-involved shooting aspect of the incident. Atlanta Police homicide investigators responded to the scene and are investigating the homicides. Part of the investigations will include determining which individuals were struck by gunfire from the suspects and whether any were struck by gunfire from the officers. Charges are anticipated against the 2 suspects detained on scene, and additional charges are likely as the investigation continues. In another statement shared with Complex on Friday afternoon, an APD rep provided additional details on the shooting, including word that their investigation thus far leads them to believe that King Von was shot during the initial incident and not by police. It is our understanding David Bennett, aka King Von, was shot and killed during the morning's shooting, and we're seeing rumors being spread indicating he was shot and killed by APD officers. At this time, our investigators believe Mr. Bennett was shot during the initial shootout between the 2 groups of males prior to police responding and attempting to stop the shooting. Additionally, Mr. Bennett was not located at the scene but arrived at a hospital shortly after the shooting via private vehicle. The investigation into this incident remains open and very active. So apparently, his life was taken because of the actions of others and not by the police. While this does clear up some of the matters at hand, it doesn't exactly bring comfort, wouldn't you agree? But you can see why they wanted to make sure it was clear that the police weren't involved in the taking of King Von's life, mainly in that the tensions between the African American community and the police have never been higher. 2020 has seen the deaths of many African American people by police and little to no justice being done for them. So if King Von had been part of that, it would have drastically changed what went down. Yet that doesn't appear to be the case, so that's why you haven't had protests in King Von's name. Still, that doesn't help those who knew King Von and still have to deal with his passing. Empire's response. As you're about to see, there are a lot of people who responded to the death of King Von, including his record label, Empire. Empire released this official statement on the death of the rising rapper who just released his debut album, Welcome to O Block, on October 30th. We're devastated by the untimely passing of King Von. The statement reads, "He was a loving father, dedicated underrated member of his community and an amazing talent that just started to scratch the surface of his boundless potential. Vaughn overcame incredibly challenging circumstances as a young man, but never lost sight of what it meant to give back and uplift his community. O-Block. We're fortunate to have witnessed his growth and evolution, but know he had so much more to give to the world. The Empire family offers her condolences to his family, friends, team during this very difficult time. It's good to see them make a statement like this. It's a very important thing in this time of tragedy and loss. Now, some may say that Empire was just trying to come off as comforting while they're hiding the fact that they had just lost a talent that would make them money. But that's not the case. For these record labels, the people under their umbrella are like family, especially the talent, with a few exceptions of course. There are always a few bad apples, and they want the talent to be as successful as possible so that both sides can profit. Not just that though, there is human decency here that you have to consider. The loss of life is something that no one is happy about, and when you know the person that has been hurt, you need to speak out and console the living as you honor the fallen. So thus, Empire's statement was perfectly stated and should be taken at face value. How the rap community reacted to King Von's death. When it comes to a musical community, regardless of genre, a loss in their group is felt by all, mainly because it's seen as the loss of a voice, the loss of an identity, and the loss of music itself if you think about it. Because someone who's gone can never perform again. Someone who is gone can't go and write and sing the potential next big hit. And for a rising star like King Von, you have to look at the potential that he had to become the next big star and now realize that it's all gone. So when a rapper dies, especially in the manner that King Von did, you hear from the community as a whole. Many rappers came forward to release their own statements and goodbyes on the loss of King Von, including his friend DJ Chop Squad, who noted on Instagram, "My heart can't take this. No bro, why you? Why bro? Please just FaceTime me bro. Why they had to take you? I'ma see you again. This ain't over. It's far from over. We still just getting started. RIP my best friend. The only to listen to me word for word from day one. We sat on FaceTime for hours making songs together. Every bar had a meaning and every song was a part of our soul. Every moment meant something, and to grow with you made me feel like I was a real producer. Love you bro." DJ Academics noted on Instagram, "It's with great sadness that I have to confirm that King Von has passed away. I spoke with his manager, who luckily has survived being shot and is currently recovering in the hospital. However, Von manager did confirm that Von was shot and did not make it. RIP King Von." Rap legend Chance the Rapper added on Twitter, "Wow, this year was so tough. RIP Von, God bless him and his family. I can't believe it." This was only the tip of the iceberg. There were many more rappers who poured in to pay their regards on Instagram or on Twitter, from YG to the ASAP Mob and beyond. The rap community mourned the loss of their brother in arms. We're sure that some of you might be surprised by this, that so many in the rap community were willing to send such heartfelt messages about a fallen brother. But as noted, the music community really is tied together by the strings that bind one musician to another. When one passes, they all suffer. Plus for them, especially losing a young talent is a hard thing, especially when it's something that you're all too familiar with. The 21 and 27 Club. Death is a part of life, and that's just how it is. People are gonna pass, and many are gonna pass before their time has come, and some lives, like King Von's, are gonna be taken from them, and you'll be left wondering, how did this happen? It's sad, gruesome even, but it's true. But something that gets noticed a lot in the rap industry is that the amount of rappers who die every year from a variety of methods is rather high. So much so that many of the rappers who do die young. Under 30, in fact, is the age range of much of them, which sadly sparked the creation of the 21 Club or 27 Club, meaning that if you were to go and try to be a rapper, you're not likely to survive past those ages. On the surface, this feels like a bad joke made after a striking coincidence. It goes much farther than you would expect. This isn't just a superstition, it's a belief that is held by some rappers that they've even sung about, including some of the ones who would fulfill their own prophecy by being a part of it. Let's look at just the past few years alone. Outside of King Von, we've lost rappers like Pop Smoke, Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion, and more. And all three of those rappers under 21 when they died. Pop Smoke died via a home invasion. Juice WRLD overdosed on drugs as he tried to flee from cops at the airport he was in, and XXXTentacion was killed in a robbery gone bad. An outlier in those deaths is the passing of Nipsey Hussle, who died at the age of 33. But we think you'll all agree that being 33 when you die isn't exactly a life fully lived. And there are plenty of other rappers who have died around those ages and created various stirs in the rap community. In fact, the number of deaths, especially in recent years, is so high, you can see why many people don't want to go and listen to rap or have their kids listen to rap or allow their kids to be rappers, because things like this happen every year. You don't talk about deaths like this in country music or pop, you just don't, because they don't happen. Feuds happen, heated exchanges happen at things like interviews or award shows at times, but never violence on this scale. This is a rap thing, and it's a scary thing because while this is all tragic, many of them bring it on themselves in their own ways. Promoting of his music led to his passing.
I just feel like, I don't know, bro. Everything happened, bro, but I probably could have talked to them because or something.
Yes, it's harsh to talk about things like this in the wake of the death of King Von, but the fact of the matter is that one of the biggest criticisms of rap music as a whole is that there are many who promote the use of drugs and violence and even go and do these acts themselves in order to get street cred. It's almost like a rite of initiation, and it's a terrible thing because of where it leads most of the time. If you don't believe us on this, look at King Von. Before he turned to rap, he was in and out of jail throughout his teen years. He was supposed to get into rap to get out of trouble, and yet he was accused in 2019 of robbing and shooting a man. Fast forward to 2020 and he was gunned down in a fight with others. Do you think that this event didn't connect to previous events in his life? It's very doubtful. Let's look now at XXXTentacion, a beloved rapper who had a massive outcry after his passing, but his tracks were just as controversial as King Von's antics, and many people noticed. In fact, part of the reason he was so popular was because of his infinitely controversial tracks, not the least of which was a song that he made to his ex-girlfriend, who he was desperate to get back with, despite the fact that in her own words, they had an abusive relationship. Not exactly a good role model. Or how about Juice WRLD? As stated before, he died via an overdose of drugs that came from a plane he was flying on that was so packed with various drugs that he would have gone to jail for 20 years if he had been arrested. It said that he was panicking on the plane landing because he knew he was going to go to jail, so apparently taking the drugs and overdosing was the better option, which is not something that people have going through their heads most times. And these are just some of the cases that we could tell you about. It's bad out there in the rap world, and what's sad is that the message just doesn't get received by most. Look at someone like 6ix9ine. He lived his early life trying to prove he was hardcore in the rap way by teaming up with a group known as the 9 Trey Bloods. He did all sorts of illegal actions with them, also his street cred would be built up and his rap fame would skyrocket. Then he betrayed them at the drop of a hat after they all got arrested by the FBI. He ratted them out, became a snitch in the eyes of the rap community and world at large, and yet he claims he did nothing wrong. He also says that his various crimes he did before weren't what people thought, and that people weren't comfortable in their own skin if they were hating on him. How does that even work? Hint, it doesn't. And yet this is a guy trying to influence the next generation to be like him so they can get famous, or in his case, infamous. Some rappers like Untitled Chapter though have seen the light and see their music as a way to inspire people the right way instead of the violent way. But unless more follow his mold, the violence is going to continue and there's little to no way to stop it. Can the cycle of pain be broken?
And then, like, did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw it. He ain't even see it coming.
Wondering if the rap community can change is something that many have asked for decades now. There are so many tight-knit groups in the rap game right now that thrive on the controversy, thrive on the gang life, that changing it would be incredibly hard. Would it be impossible? No, not really, but it'd take strong leadership from multiple main members, and that is not something you're likely to have in rap given all the rivalries and conflicts on various levels, which obviously puts us all in a very hard position, one that no one wants to be in at all. The position of a person who has to sit back and watch the various violent acts continue. In truth, a sad one at that, the real question isn't when is change coming to the rap world, but rather who will be the next victim of it. And there you go, a look at the life of King Von and how it came to an abrupt end. Do you think that the case of King Von is truly known in terms of what went down? Do you think that the rap world will finally start changing its ways so it can try and prevent more deaths like this from happening? Or do you think this culture is so ingrained in their ways that it'd be hard to divert? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe. I'm King Trending, and I'll see you next time on the channel.